For a markedly deep philosopher, an answer never really answers anything much at all. You know, there are a lot of different theories, postulations, philosophical concepts, scientific proposals, and theological prognostications concerning the nature of life and existence. But have you ever noticed that all of them, and I do mean all of them without exception, have awareness as a foundation? Now, I don't mean the theories and stories themselves, as they do go to great lengths to guide us away from our own awareness and shine the spotlight of interest onto inventory items and conceptual projections that cast the fundamental center of reality outwards onto extrinsic phenomena. No, what I mean is that all of these assertions about the possibilities of meaning and function through various applications of ideology all have awareness at the core. You want to talk about the philosophy of metaphysical existentialism? Awareness is at the foundation. You want to speak about the material universe, evolution, and the quantum properties of objects? Awareness is at the foundation. You prefer to frame things through the idea of a supernatural supreme deity that created a medium of interaction? Awareness is at the foundation. All theories about life start from awareness. Even the famous philosophical proposition by René Descartes, cogito ergo sum, translated to mean, I think, therefore I am, start with awareness as the foundation. And so it's inaccurate, really. What makes you an am is not thinking, which more aptly stated becomes, there is awareness. Therefore, there is cognizance of an agency identified as a self that has the capacity to think and experience appearances. It all starts with awareness. I am aware of an experience of appearances, and I call that a reality. This is all an honest philosopher, or a scientist, or anyone else concerned with the nature of existence could possibly say in truth. You are aware of an experience of appearances and call that a reality. To gain an understanding into what exactly this is, what the nature of awareness, experience, appearances, and reality is, one would have to explore it for themselves. And due to the format of this setup, this can only be investigated by oneself by delving into the depths of the very thing that is the foundation of this configuration. The awareness that is providing the platform of inquiry. This is what is most true, most clear, most immediate, most verifiable, by virtue of just being aware of it. There's nothing to say or point out about the appearances that is going to shed light on this simple, undeniable truth. Although we like to try, don't we? And just by doing this, we have already lost the clarity of the truth, which just is and doesn't need any explanations. You are already it. So why do you need this explained to you? You are aware. This is what you are. This is the nature of your so-called existence. The proof and evidence is right there. What further needs to be explained to you? Isn't already being aware self-evident enough in itself? We are aware, and wow, look at that. There is something to be aware of. And this is the apparent stumbling block. So maybe I can find out some answers about this awareness by investigating what I am aware of. And just like that, clarity is lost. Delusion begins. An ideological masturbation begins. As soon as we start looking at what awareness is aware of as a source of inquest, we are already reaching into the wrong place. And so then it should be no surprise whatsoever that any answers obtained therein are going to be spurious. So then you can just imagine what kind of convoluted, murky swamp of delusion develops when one begins to form attachments. That is, identifications and associations with these false appearances. Then these false attachments become foundations for truths that are based on the erroneous. And getting out of this sticky mess is also difficult. Because, due to the jumbled quagmire produced by these false identifications and associations, even the way out is misconstrued. And so the lost self thinks freedom from the entanglements will somehow be found by digging even deeper into the entanglement. It's virtually inescapable, a veritable quicksand. So this is why, when you step forth to point outwards and open your mouth to speak about phenomenal content, you are, at the least, just blowing a bunch of hot air. Or, at the worst, misguiding and enabling others to stay mired in delusion. This is the greatest disservice and an injustice, if ever there were such things. You might as well get this straight away. There isn't going to be any spiritual progress, any new age of enlightenment, any existential transcendence, any great vibrational ascension, nor any other proposed shift into a new chapter of the evolution of consciousness, until the secrets of the interconnectivity of reality and the mind are explored and uncovered. What the hell else are you waiting for? It's not going to happen all by itself. It's got nothing to do with a prophetic date on a calendar. Unrelated to cycles, alignments, and activities of the stars or celestial bodies. Far from being associated with a god or the coming of some savior that's going to pick you up and carry you over the finish line. Not found in the exploration and discoveries made about the fabric of space and time of a material universe. Not conditional to a political revolution, tuning into a frequency, deciphering ancient texts or artifacts, or the arrival of some race of benevolent or malevolent extraterrestrials. No, the metamorphosis you are anticipating is not going to come about by waiting for some external event to unfold. These proposed events are all very elaborate and effective diversions from the truth. An error made by the misjudgment of the appearances of illusion, which fosters the tendency for us to take the considerations of life a bit too literally. Again, it all comes back to the foundation of existence. It's right there at your fingertips, yet you refuse to investigate it. Don't get me wrong, I understand why this seems like a daunting task, despite being the most accessible avenue you have. The external world is the ultimate attention whore. It is taxing and overwhelming, and pulls the focus towards it constantly. There are so many fascinations, narratives, and objects of desire. It's no wonder that the source of attention is the very last place it would occur for anyone to consider. Well, guess what? You're not going to discover anything of real import or significance by searching out there. Seeking to leave no stone unturned is not going to get the job done. Just the notion of a search is already the wrong approach. You are already that which needs to be investigated. There's nothing to find because you are already it. Move inwards into that which precedes the ego, which is also a part of the external projections, and become intimate with the source of attention. Maybe the pull of the external world is too loud and strong, and you find yourself hindered at every step. So this may require you to take a more proactive approach, where you become an existential warrior. A Ronin samurai of sorts, employing the sharp-cutting blade of the Sword of Deconstruction. The world is demanding, but it only holds such sway over you because you are heavily attached and invested in it. You have established many identifications and associations with the world, and these binding stakes, which are heavy fixations of value, purpose, meaning, and narrative, represent the opposing warriors on the field of battle who seek to defeat you through your voluntary surrender to illusion. Don't allow illusion to remain your master. Take up your sword of deconstruction and begin to cut down these established investments of identifications with the false. You hesitate because they seem like your friends, as they have been with you for most of your life. But they over-encumber you with a heavy burden. The actual cost of maintaining these exacting relationships is so much more of a strenuous effort than simply letting go. Despite letting go seeming so difficult, it's only seemingly difficult because desire rules your ego, and your ego is the master over awareness. because it is a distracting, fickle, spoiled brat that constantly snags the attention with its wants and woes, and the deep cravings it has to be unique and special. But remember, you are not the ego. The ego stands on the field of battle among the opposing foes of illusion as a boss and warlord, leading the charge against you. Take up your sword of deconstruction and fight.